Dylan Da Silva,
Yes.
the family man, the entrepreneur, the game ranger. What is it that you don't do, my friend? It is such a cool privilege to have you on the Real Good podcast. You are genuinely one of the kindest, most authentic human beings I've ever had the good fortune of knowing. You have a tremendous history in building businesses, in brands that you love. You speak to all things sustainable in all different ways. I'm just excited to have you here today.
Thank you.
And to share the story that you have. Tell us about Dylan Da Silva and your love affair with building coffee brands.
Thanks, Marion. Thanks for having me. Who am I? I'm a dad. That's the biggest thing in my life. Before being a dad, I was someone who always wanted to attempt reaching the greatest. Brought up in a family with strong values and strong morals. I was always put in a place and a position to achieve that. So I always, wanted to chase the great. Nothing too much to write home about, but I always wanted to start something that I believed in and I was the core of, and that I knew that I could pursue and push until the very last minute. And it's something that drives purpose within me. Mm-hmm. So who I am, I'm still figuring out right now. If you give me a couple of years, maybe I could answer it. But that's who I am. That's who I am right now.
Okay, got you.
I'm driving purpose. I'm chasing greats. And I'm still looking for it. I'm still evidently looking for that perfect cup of coffee.
So you've run multiple businesses, and I want to get into all of them. But that word "great," I think it's changed and it continues to change for you. You've had the influence of really good parents who have different personalities. What was great to you when you started out in business, and what does it mean to you now?
Great to me was value. I always needed to understand value and what value I brought to the next person. Okay. That was intentional for me. What it means now, it's the same thing. Okay. It's the same thing I'm still discovering because every single day is different.
Okay.
Understanding different values in the way I run businesses and the way that I work with people. Yet they're the same, but they're totally different. So for me to understand those two, I need to understand the value that I'm still chasing.
Got you.
Yeah.
Got you. Your first coffee business or your first business?
Yeah.
I think you're in your 20s.
Yeah.
Take us back there.
Oh man, wild ride. My dad bought me a Korsabaki, and he said, Yazabaki, there's an opportunity for you to work with a renowned brand from Italy. Make it work. Very blessed to have my dad and his business expertise behind me and backing me. So the idea of it was to start importing a product from Italy and resell it, to restaurants, to cafes. And it was a whole coffee bean, and it was decaf. I didn't know much. I had just finished studying. I'd worked what I thought I wanted to do. Opportunity came up and I got thrown into the deep end.
How old were you?
Just turned 20. I was turning 21 that year. Right. I didn't study business. I didn't study anything that would help me achieve my goals in that business a lot faster. Like I said, I was given a Korsabaki and an importer's license and said, cool, make it work. And this is your target for the first year. I looked at the target and I was like, yeah, it's doable, no problem. Bear in mind, I had to change the tires on my Bucky a good 11, 12 times that year. It was hard, man. It was hard. I got thrown into a business that I didn't know, hospitality, a food and beverage business that I didn't know, and I had to figure it out. On top of all of that, I had to manage cash flow. I had to understand budgets. And yes, me, trying to sign up a cafe with coffee beans, but still doing Udemy classes or YouTube online classes, learning how to, do the basics of business. You quickly find out how important that is. It was tough. I paid school fees. I learned a lot of lessons, but everything that I learned then, I bring into practice now.
Got you.
And it just makes the transition so much more smoother.
What do you feel like you learned?
Have you got enough time? I'm still learning, Murray.
Okay.
I've been doing this for 2 decades, close to 2 decades. And I thought after the first decade, I'd learned everything and I was ready to go. I had to take the ego off my shoulder and I had to put it back in my pocket because I still got, for lack of a better word, clapped, left, right, and center.
Got you.
I've learned transparency and I've learned humanism. We are, at the end of the day, we are human, right? The biggest thing I've learned from starting from scratch to where I got to was that we're allowed to make mistakes, and being hard on yourself benefits no one. And at the end of the day, it doesn't benefit yourself.
Yeah.
That's the biggest lesson I learned.
Yep.
In terms of, all the business stuff on the side. I mean, I could hopefully do a budget now blindfolded, and accurately prepare cash flow for the next 12 months. But with that aside, I mean, that's staple.
Got you.
Relationships are key with humans. It's so important. The way I grew my business, I didn't grow it by managing cash flow correctly.
Yeah.
Yes, it hurt. But the way I grew it within that first decade was by building and forming relationships with other people. That was the biggest thing.
Be all and end all, right?
And it's who you know.
Got you. You can't fake it either.
No. In the beginning, got to a point where there were plenty times where either a customer or supplier, and that's what I wanted to get to. I would get invited to their wedding. Wow. And then I knew, I was like, cool. Done.
So if you get invited to someone's wedding, then you know.
Exactly. Okay, then at your wedding, you can talk about further discounts.
I wouldn't consider you an extrovert. Maybe I'm wrong. Am I wrong?
Monday to Wednesday, yes.
Okay.
Thursday, Friday, introvert. But I'm mainly an introvert.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, got you.
In this game, we're very public facing.
Yes.
You have to, I wear, in a good way, I wear a few masks.
Got you.
You have to.
I say because you started off in sales, right?
Yeah.
And so that's super uncomfortable for someone who might not have a natural tendency. And obviously, you're a great relationship guy. I mean, I feel your love all the time. And you, again, like one of the most genuine people I know. And I guess you don't have to be an extrovert to be like that. You can just be normal in who you are. But it is uncomfortable and sales is hard. Yeah. How was that experience for you, for someone who's...
I had to push. I had to push through. I had to keep looking at the end goal. Growing up, I was very doubtful of myself.
Okay.
I was very... I found it hard to believe in myself in what I was doing. Mm-hmm. So a lot of times I would execute something with precision and it would come out beautifully in the way that I wanted to, but it wasn't good enough.
Mm-hmm. It wasn't good enough to who?
To myself.
Got you.
So I would get applause from the crowd and I would get appreciation from my parents or, the average Joe. But for me, it wasn't good enough. And therefore I completely suppressed most of that. And it was hard in the beginning selling because I had to go up to strangers. I wasn't confident in myself. I wasn't confident in the way I approached. I wasn't confident in me believing I understood the products I was selling.
Right.
Although I did. I'd put on a beautiful pitch and I could sign up a client. But to me, to get to pitching was the struggle.
Yeah.
And that, once again, that came with school fees. And I had to remind myself that I'm not selling myself. In a way, yes. I'm selling a product to enhance this person's business. Yes. And if I believe in the product, that's the first step down. Also, picturing them naked helped a lot.
That tactic. Okay, got you.
It was hard for the first couple of years. I had to push through the boundary. I had to push through the little Ziploc bag that was keeping me, and not allowing me to push through with my full potential. And I think what happened is it took one make or break business opportunity, which I made. And I think after that, I shifted.
Got you.
I was like, I can do this. And I did it by myself. And I did it as the person I am. I wasn't, anything else. And I think that from there, I I kind of started to believe more.
Was that your first business?
That was my first business.
Okay.
Yeah.
Talk me through the process from selling equipment, right, to becoming a game ranger, and then to starting your own coffee business, which had multiple stores in Durban. Take us through that process.
So it was a game ranger first, actually. Right. Yeah. So that's what I studied. I studied lodge management and game ranging through the International Hotel School, hospitality.
Okay. So hospitality is in the blood.
It's the core. Yeah.
Okay.
It's the core. And yeah, that's what I studied. And since I was, as far as I can remember, my parents kept telling me I just wanted to work in the bush. I wanted to be a game ranger, a field guide. I wanted to be that human connection between people and environments or animals. And I decided to pursue it. So when I finished school, that's what I studied. I qualified and I worked in the bush for a while. And at that stage, my dad was running an international company, and he built relationships with the brand in Italy. And they approached my dad and said, listen, we got this opportunity. We want to get into Africa. Do you have? My dad being like, listen, boy, like, I'm glad you followed your purpose and your dream, but you know, if you want to start making real money one day, like, you got to start your own thing, you know?
Got you.
My dad's always been entrepreneurial, like, focused and inclined, and he's pushed it like onto me and my brother completely. So trusting him, which I always do, that was the first step that we took. And that's when he got me the Corsa Bakkie. And I was like, cool, here we go. You got the tools, make it work. So that was a import-export company that we had. We're importing from Italy, and then we're exporting into Africa. I started with my cousin in Joburg, and it was just us two. And we were just literally working out of the back of a bakkie, and we were just hustling, and we were just knocking. At that point, we didn't know what to do. We were going to Mug and Beans, and we were going to, hey, do you guys want to buy our coffee? And, you know, not understanding the market, it took us time. And we did that for a good 10 years.
10 years.
10 years, yeah, from Joburg. And eventually we got to a point, you know, where we had good number of vehicles on the road. We were in most provinces around the country. We had a beautiful, massive warehouse in Limborough Park in Joburg. We had a good supply chain going. We had a team all across the country.
Got you.
And then our Durban business was taking a bit of a knock. Mm-hmm. So at one of our board meetings one day, I was like, cool, I'll go down for a couple of weeks and I'll sort it out. I'll look for staff and we'll just get the couple of weeks turned to forever. I didn't go back to Joburg. Okay. Stayed in Durban and opened up the branch there, and got that fully up and running as like what we did in Joburg and the rest of the country. When this was around 2017, there was a massive change in import duties and exchange rate, and we started feeling the pinch quite a bit. So we sat down and we said, cool, well, let's start another company. So let's start producing the product that we're importing. Let's produce it locally.
Got you.
So we put our heads together and we founded a brand called Skyline. And Skyline was something like, it was just supposed to be a fill-in until the exchange rate dropped, and then we could, you know, make our margins back on the imported coffee. So we found a company to roast for us, and we just started messing around with some designs and, you know, building a brand on the side. Like I said, it wasn't going to be anything permanent. Mm-hmm. And within the first 3 months of launching Skyline, we had now got into a new market that we could never tap into with the imported product. And
which is
local small mom and pop shops. Gotcha. You know, so if you're bringing in a product from Italy with the exchange rate, you're selling it at 500 Rand a kilo because you've got to make a little bit of money. With our locally roasted product, we could sell it at 240 Rand a kilo. Yes. So half the price. We could go into guys we could approach guys who are more price sensitive and more worried about, you know, their bottom line. Once this started happening, we started looking at turning all our current customers over to the Skyline brand. Within the first 6 months, we doubled figures.
Wow.
Doubled.
How did you do that?
we just had the opportunity, which we never thought would ever be on a table because of the product that we had. The product that we had wasn't perfect, but it was good enough.
Yes.
Skyline was perfect.
Yes.
Like it hit the spot for everyone. It was everyone's cup of coffee.
Got you.
We were able to we were able to service from A to Z, from hotels to small independently cafes to franchises to coffee trucks to businesses to corporates. We're able to hit everybody. Then and there we made the decision, let's get rid of X, carry on with Y.
Got you.
And we put all our focus into Skyline.
What did you do differently?
I believed Skyline was mine.
Okay.
So it's something that, like I said, yes, it was almost over like a quick little, draw logo, and kind of, but there was so much heart and felt that went into the brand. It was something that I believe, not instant, but over the first 3 to 6 months, man, it was like my pure, like it was everything, like it engulfed me. I believed in it so much that the 10 years ago, the Dylan would be like, "Are you mad? What are you doing? Like, this is not you." I didn't care who you were. I was going to every single door and trying to sell them Skyline.
Because it was yours.
And I believed in so much that I was getting the deals. There were deals that I was doing 3 or 4 deals a day.
Out of the yellow pages.
There we go.
What does the brand mean to you when you I mean, how did it come about? What does the word Skyline mean?
I'm so patriotic about South Africa, man. And like you think Cape Town, Durban, Joburg, like growing up in Joburg, that Joburg skyline of Ponte Tower, Durban, Moses Mabhida now, and Table Mountain, like just, bringing all 3 of the major cities together, and just bringing it as one.
Gotcha.
That was the idea behind it. So we could literally, supply a product everywhere across every single, skyline within South Africa.
Building something of your own changed the way you performed. So Skyline versus what you were doing before, because it was yours and because you helped create this brand, which is ultimately a reflection of who you are, changed the way you walked into doors and had meetings, and obviously then doubled your turnover.
Yeah.
How important was that?
Man, like I said, if the younger Dylan knew of the capability, the importance would show right now. And I don't want to say that it held me back. It didn't, because I needed those first 10 years to stumble. And I think I benefited from those 10 years. It was so important because it gave me confidence.
Got you.
It made me believe that, cool, this is actually, we do have purpose.
Yeah.
And yes, it might just be selling coffee, but for me, it was bigger than just selling coffee. It was about building a relationship. And I mentioned earlier about getting invited to a wedding. Like, I got numerous invites to, clients' birthday parties and, weddings. And that's ideally what I wanted. I didn't know it, but it was sitting somewhere.
Genuine relationships with other human beings.
I mean, some of my good relationships now are with people that started with business. You one of them. So I think ultimately that's the end goal for me, and that's why it's so important.
So then you had an idea to open a physical store, which in this world is quite tough. Tell us about that process.
We were looking for we knew Skyline had potential. We knew what we could bring, and we were continuously looking for the perfect brick and mortar.
Because they're different businesses.
Oh yeah, no.
One is
different.
Supplying and relationships. The other one is retail and staff and labor and customer service.
Exactly. We found the perfect store in Durban, which when we applied, the commercial broker said, sorry, someone by the name of Murray Clark has already signed the lease.
There's another Murray Clark in Durban?
Yeah, I'll tell you about him later. But that was the road to finding the store. We knew we wanted a store. Yeah. We knew how we could build community around having a proper brick and mortar store.
So was that the driver, is to build community?
Yes. And it's hard to build community when you're selling a product from a bakkie.
Yeah.
You need a destination. It's important. So we knew from the get. It was in our business plan.
From the beginning.
No, it was on the last page.
Okay.
But I kept going back to the last page because I had put a little thumb tag on there.
Awesome.
And the thumb tag at the top said end goal. And every time I'd open up, it would say cafe for the people. That is it. So yes, we opened up that store in 2018, and like every retail business, especially in food and beverage, it can either go one way or another. And you kind of have to just like sit in the middle, and you have to be resilient. It was tough in the beginning, like anything, like you expect it to be. Once again, there's a new set of school fees you have to pay. There's a new bunch of lessons, because going from, wholesale supply to something completely, now this wholesale supply is still got old Dylan attached. Now new Dylan's opened up a cafe, and now I have to deal with people and believe that the product that we're serving them is good enough.
Got you.
Once again, doesn't have to be perfect, but it has to be good enough.
Yes.
So that transition was hard. Also from waking up now, wake up on a normal day at like 7, now you're waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning to open up a cafe.
Yeah.
You also have to realize with all the other things that come attached to that. So in terms of business, we can touch on that a bit later, but in terms of people, in the beginning, I was opening up the shop between myself and Jamie, and we had one barista there. So I was working and dealing and interacting with so many new people every single day. I've got one personality. I am who I am. But when you're dealing with close to 100 people within the space of like the first 2 hours of the morning with different personalities, wow.
Ordering coffee.
Wow. Coming in, ordering coffee, and first guy talking about the weather. The second guy talking about how he hardly slept last night. The third guy talking about how stressed he is because work. The fourth guy going through personal issues. And you just like, I'm trying to have a nice day too. If they come and order coffee, you can't talk to them about how you're feeling.
Yes.
So there's that part which hit me like a 6. I had to learn how to deal with that, because at the end of the day, my cup was empty. I was giving I just thought we were going to make coffee and get money. Yeah. Cool. But there's so much more to the in-depth that goes behind building those relationships. Man, I was getting home at night and I was just like broken. I was getting sucked dry, completely.
Got you.
But 5 years later, doing all that hard work in the beginning, man, it's just paid off. Every single person I can name to the T that I have relationships with from the beginning stages of the cafe. Yeah. And like I have a personal relationship with 80% of the people. Yeah.
How important was building that community to the success of that store?
In the beginning, we opened it to make money. So community, we knew that we had to do something different, but we opened it to build the brand and to grow the business.
Got you.
What came after was a shock. What came after was something that, cool, the money part is there, but what we have now is something that money cannot buy. So on the day of our opening, we had two strangers who didn't know each other. Those 2 strangers got married last year.
No way.
Yeah.
That is the coolest story in the world.
So they didn't meet on the first day. I think there was a small interaction, right, on the first day. But I watched their relationship grow over 5 years.
In your store?
Yeah.
Unreal.
I watched their first date. Their first coffee date was at the store.
No.
I was kind of like upset that he didn't propose in the store. I mean, if we're going to, let's do it all the way through.
Exactly.
But watching that's just a small snippet of creating community, right? When we had those riots in Durban, it was everything shut down completely. Jamie and I woke up the one morning, we looked at each other and said, well, we are for the people. Like, we've got everything in the store, let's open. We're the only cafe that opened in that whole like greater city great in the Durban area, we were hustling milk and bread, and we were making sourdough bread in our oven. We were baking cookies and cakes. Like we were doing, we opened for the people. Like we said, like everything. I can't remember. It was like 20 or 30 bucks, but we said everything 20 rand. Like it doesn't matter. You guys need this. This is a stressful time for us. Like we want to have a space for everyone to come. So we put a little Instagram post out the night before. And I got that about 5:30 the next morning, and Murray, there was a queue around the block.
Seriously?
There was a queue around the block. I phoned everyone that I knew. I said, can you come help me? Because this is either going to go, like a stampede, like us are going to, but it was such a beautiful thing to witness. We opened the doors and guys were just standing in the queue. I put a speaker outside, so there was music going. Eventually, we just brought the coffee machine outside.
This is during the riots?
This is during the riots.
Unreal.
This is during the riots. And that's once again, that was 2022, I believe. Yeah, 2022. And that was also just like another, this is why we do what we do.
That's amazing.
Like, this is just looking at it. I've got the photos on my phone still. And sometimes I'll just, it'll pop up and I'll just get goosebumps. I'll just be like, this is why I'm here.
Awesome. So community became almost as important, if not more so, than just the business aspect of it. And that was like a product of building the store and this beautiful brand that you guys created, that you then opened a second store in Salt Rock.
Yeah, so North Coast.
Tell us about that, because there's one thing being there yourself and speaking to 100 customers and building this brand that means something, that, and everyone you, Dylan, I know because I was one of them at 6:30 in the morning in Durban. We're early risers. How do you do that in store number 2 and replicate that culture?
I think if you believe in it enough, it's easy. The trick is believing that you can do it.
Got you.
So we took a different approach with that. So we actually brought on a partner. So we had a great opportunity from a very renowned person in the industry. He approached us and said, I love the brand. I love what you guys are doing. I want to move forward with you. Mm-hmm. And when we were looking at the longevity of the business, we knew that one day we had to make that decision. And that decision was in our lap now, and we decided to make the decision. So opening the second store, it was great, but it came with challenges because we now had a third party.
Got you.
So the Salt Rock store was a challenge because I couldn't put myself on the table without someone else, pushing me off and saying we should do it this way.
Yeah.
So to replicate, I believed in the brand, and I knew, aesthetic wise, if it changed, the brand would still bring the people.
Yeah.
Because I believed what we had built.
Yeah.
We had built something that gained traction and a following. So regardless of what aesthetically the shop looked like or where it was, I still believed that it would do really well.
Brand would shine through.
Of course, which it did. So if you looked at both stores, which was, once again, it was. I love the term paying school fees, because that's what it is. And like I told you, I thought I was done, but I once again I had to pay more.
Yeah.
I honestly thought that the replication of a Durban store to Salt Rock would be like this, but it came with challenges, and yet at the end of the day, we kept up the same feeling, the same community aspect. Everything that when you walked into any store, you'd still get that warmth, that love, and that natural feeling of belonging.
Got you.
So that was my one core ingredient that I needed to make sure that got passed on, which it did.
Awesome. So different stores, same community, different context, same cool brand.
Yeah.
Fast forward to 2023, you're a family.
Yes.
You have a beautiful 3-year-old boy at home.
Yeah.
A beautiful wife who's in your business. You make the decision to move to Cape Town and start a brand new food and beverage business 3 or 4 years after the world had come to a stop.
Yeah.
You now have 4 or 5 cafes and restaurants across the city of Cape Town. You're opening 2 more restaurants in November and January, respectively, and possibly another in San Francisco. Are you mad?
Am I mad? I'm not mad. Man, I'm genuinely excited.
Okay.
Um,
Because you're still a young guy.
yeah.
I know hospitality has taken its toll on us.
pushing the big 4-0 soon. I've learned to focus on purpose now, and I think building this brand that we've created here in Cape Town is driving major purpose in me at the moment, which I'm excited for.
What does the brand Nice mean to you?
So the name was intentional. It's approachable. It creates a sense of, you can't put that into words. You know, we need people to come as they are. How do you build a brand to let people be just generally nice people? It's sitting now, those first couple of years when I started Skyline, that's where Nice sits with me at the moment.
Amazing.
So I feel it. And I know that it's got more to it than just being a cafe. It's got more to it than just being another brand, especially in Cape Town. It's warm, man. It's warm.
Awesome.
And it's gonna do good things.
Tell us about your thought process in the creation of your menu. I know that you speak about being a game ranger and that connection between the natural world and humans. I know that you operate on a different level when it comes to designing menus, and you're a purist. And I'd love to get into your headspace around how you think about food development and what you're up to for your next 2 stores.
We need to eat to live, right? We need to eat what we enjoy eating. At the end of the day, we want to create food for people to enjoy it the way that they enjoy it. I could, by all means, put every single one of my favorite dishes on every menu, but it won't work. It's important to food is it's a story. It has to be a story. For us, there's really no point in having restaurants, right? You go to a restaurant or a cafe to enjoy the full experience. It's an ecosystem. And the creation of that ecosystem, it has to be prepared and planned for the people. There's no question around it at all. We create the experience for the people.
Mm-hmm.
Sustainability is important, and I know a lot of people are pushing that way, and I'm pushing that way as best as we can in order to create a full transparent story. Minute you sit down, you understand what you're eating, where you're eating it from. It's one of the most important factors as a paying guest in a restaurant to know what they're paying for. And when you know what you're paying for, you've basically designed that menu for that customer,
Gotcha.
which creates retention, right? So, I mean, I've been to plenty exclusive restaurants, fine dining restaurants, and my top 5 are ones that I can see where the menu has been intentionally created for everybody.
Yes. And there's a story that you understand.
Of course. I want to leave, with the story that I experienced as a picture book in my head,
memory,
which I keep with me.
I think that's
forever.
what great brands get right, whether it's on a menu or in a space. You have Cape Town's first and biggest coffee rave that has become an absolute success. Thousands of people come to a building that you guys have a shop in. that we have a shop in, and you've partnered with Superbalist, you've partnered with Oakley, you've partnered with some amazing brands across South Africa. Tell us about this Thursday service that you've created that continues to be a massive success.
So originally, speaking to the team before the first one, and I just wanted to create a just a morning with louder music than normal, and like a few little extra, snacks or croissants or a different beverage for the day. And we've been talking it for a while, like a long time. And eventually, during this time, the coffee raves were happening overseas, and they were starting to gain momentum. And the first one that we did, we had a fee set up outside on a little stainless steel table, like nothing special, and we had music at an appropriate volume. And I think there was about 30 or 40 people that arrived. And just the energy and the vibe that was given off from those 30 or 40 people, I think myself and my team looked at each other and were like, maybe.
30 might become 300.
Maybe. And I think we put a lot more effort into the next one. We knew what we could do. And I also saw after that first one, we gave people to connect. We gave people a different reason to connect at a different time, man. It was crazy. Like you see that at 2:00 in the morning when you're stumbling out of a club, We had that exact same vibe, but at 7:00 in the morning, and everyone's fully aware and
Present.
There's no substances that are altering their personality. Like that person dancing is dancing freely
In broad daylight.
There we go, as themselves, with nothing to make them dance like that.
That's incredible.
And that was just like, cool. Well, that's the perfect reason to do it again, And then I think what really, like when one of the radio stations called for an interview, and they said the reason we called for an interview was because some of our staff arrived, the last one you did after the morning, and they just walked in with, grace, and they were glowing, and they were just so energized through the day. And it was like, can you do it every day? So our staff are like that. And that just ticks a box for me. I was like, cool, that's why we do it. I mean, if we're doing something right, if we're getting phone calls, like, yes, it led to an interview on the radio, but if we're getting phone calls with that response and outcome, I was like, then I'm done. Like that's it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's incredible. What does the future look like for you? Still figuring out the present.
Still figuring it out, man. Balance. I like, everyone throws around the word balance, but I've also learned you can't have balance without purpose. And I know I've used that a lot today, but I think purpose is so important. And once I think I found purpose, which now has allowed me to balance, which is now allowing me time to plan for longevity into the future.
Got you.
But in a short little, if I could answer that, what I would like, I would like to create something that gets left behind for everybody to nurture off, to succeed off. A place where two strangers can meet and get married in 5 years. Man, if I could have that and I could see it in the longevity of the business, I'm happy. That's what I want. And people, I love people.
Love it, man. That is the core of your genuine human nature, dude. And I would say from experience, having known you for many years, that is why you will continue to be a success. It has been, again, such a privilege to have you as a mate on this podcast, to share your story, the ups, the downs, the successes, the challenges. I have nothing but good to say about you and the light that you share with everyone all day, every day. And just for being your real, authentic self, and making the decision to show up every day and try to be better than yesterday. I know we both try and do that together with the rest of the team. Thank you for being on the podcast, Dill.
Thank you for having me.